So one of the challenges of running a bike YouTube channel is, of course, filming yourself. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be playing with some new video tools and show you how it looks like to mount and the end result. Okay, so moving over here, this is what we've got. The folks at Insta360 sent over a nice kind of 360 bundle kit, and I'm going to see how viable it is to use when filming gravel riding or product reviews. This is their dual mod kit, which has a regular 4K camera, but I'm gonna primarily be using the 360 cam, and you can see it's mounted on what they call an invisible selfie stick. And the software is pretty cool because it actually deletes this stick and you can't really see it unless you look at the shadows. To mount it on the bike, I'm going to be experimenting with a couple different mounts. I don't know which one's gonna work best yet, but this is a small rig clamp. Usually it's used just for, say, attaching a monitor to a tripod or something. We're gonna see if it has enough clamping force to keep this from vibrating on the gravel road. And if that fails, I will pull out the big guns. This is a Manfrotto super clamp, and this should definitely not budge. Another thing I'm testing, you'll notice that the audio should hopefully sound better, even though this is being filmed on the GoPro, is this lavalier. I've kind of given up on putting a mic on action cams just because it's so cumbersome. So I've resorted to this guy. This is a Tascam lavalier recorder. It's basically a built-in recorder, super small, runs for a long time. One of the nice features about this is that it does record a safety track. So if I get too excited and start screaming or something, there is backup audio. And you can see it's small enough to kind of tape up and just put in your pocket. That's what we're going to be testing today. Let's hit the road and see what it all looks like. Okay, we've stopped at a little part here on the Kim Williams. I've started the audio syncing with the GoPro, so hopefully it sounds good. A couple more details. What I'm doing here is I'm using a small rig clamp. It does not come with the Insta360 kit, so this is something different. And also you have to get a male quarter 20 to male quarter 20 adapter, and that is what allows me to screw it on here. I think the first shot we're going to try is mounting it on the handlebars, extending it, and trying to film backwards. So it's kind of a quasi biking and talking a la GCN shot. We'll see if we can pull that off on the cheap. Get this on the handlebars. I have been doing some testing with this, and it seems to work reasonably well on pavement. We'll see how well it does on the grav. I've also noticed that this mount works best when it's mounted to just the bare handlebar. If you put it on a part with tape, it tends to compress and it starts to turn, all that stuff. Ideally, bare handlebar. So now, I'm gonna extend this puppy, and this looks absolutely ridiculous in person. I might go one down just so it's a little bit less ridiculous, but it looks awesome in post. And I think what we're gonna do now, camera's rolling, or camera's on. It is recording. Are you recording? Okay, it's recording. So I'm gonna ride, and we're gonna switch between a view of Laura filming me from the side so you can see how ridiculous this is, and the actual end result you get from the 360 cam. So let's do that. So it looks a little bit bouncy, I'm not gonna lie, on the gravel. We will see what this looks like in post. But one of the cool things about a 360 camera is you can change the angle in post. So I'm gonna make this swivel so you guys can see Laura. And this is me on this bike. We shall see how ridiculous this looks. One of my goals is that I can do a ride review while riding, getting good audio with the lav, and having some interesting variations of the B-roll. Okay, so that was what the footage looks like when it's on the invisible selfie stick clamped to the handlebars. You know, of course, you can move this further out and closer in. I've noticed from what little testing I've done is you kind of want it at face level, otherwise you get this really kind of unflattering up your nose look. So though this looks dumb to have it this high, this gives you I think the best looking shot in terms of self-filming. So the next angle we're gonna do is a sideways shot. Like I mentioned, this clamp tends to do better when there's no handlebar tape, and clearly there's handlebar tape on this Poseidon. Let's see how, oh, that's reasonably tight. Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident about this, guys. So I'm gonna extend this out. And one thing you'll notice is, you know, with a 360 cam, you don't have to have the lenses pointed at you, just in your general vicinity. You don't want anything important like in line of the bottom, because this part will be deleted by the software. But, you know, riding on the bike like this, it should get most of my body. Again, I have it kind of slightly upwards, just so it's a little bit more flattering, less distorted. And standing still and shaking it, it works well. Let's see how well it does when we're actually biking. Again, when you do something like this, it does increase your profile. So yeah, don't do this on the road. This is what a sideways profile shot with the 360 cam looks like. Super paranoid about knocking it into things and it slipping. This works a little bit better for pavement, I think, in general, but we're gonna see what we can do on the grass. This looks really, really silly. But hopefully you can get some cool shots, move the camera angles around, shoot back at Laura, look at my tire, shoot ahead, all from just one kind of camera angle. Next thing I want to try is actually removing the small rig and showing what you can do just by holding the camera. So the way I'm going to do this is holding it just like this. So this is actually let me do it with this hand so I can still shift. Very precarious should you drop the camera, but should lead for an interesting result, but in a lot quicker to deploy way. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so this is me just holding the camera. In some ways it feels more secure because you're actually holding the thing and you're not relying on the clamping force to hold it up. But it's also a little bit more wobbly. I'm not sure which is going to be best, but one thing I am doing intentionally is angling the stick up, just so it's a little bit more eye level, ideally a little bit more flattering rather than just like going up your nostril. So this is what this looks like this. I'm going to do a couple of moves with the shot in software. So looking at the tire, looking at Laura to the left, scenery to the right, and maybe a big loop-the-loop or something. Let's stop for a quick second, keep recording. So the next thing we're going to try is a profile shot, again without a clamp. And I actually picked up this tip from a Patreon supporter, Andy from Velo Studio. So holding it like this and getting me, actually I'll put it on this side. So this is how I'm holding it. You can see it's just shooting out, no clamp or anything. Let's get going. So again, this should give me a similar profile shot. I am using the handle on the handlebar to stabilize it. Feels more secure. A downside of a shot like this is that it is a little bit lower, so less flattering, a little bit more distortion. But in terms of a quick and dirty, I don't think this is a bad shot, you know, to intersplice. Again, I can rotate the view so you get a view of Laura. Back to me, I could shoot her wheels this way, my wheels, the scenery in front of us, scenery behind us. The last shot we're going to try is supposed to emulate a drone shot. I don't know how successful it's going to be. It's going to look really dumb in person, but let's see what it looks. So basically the idea is I'm going to ride, hold this, and over my back, and it should give the sense of being followed by a drone. Fingers crossed. Let's see what this looks like. Does this look like a drone, or does this just look dumb? So I have no idea what this is going to look like. I've actually not tested this view in particular. I'm hoping that it looks less dumb than it feels, but we'll see. Does this look dumb, Laura? Yes. All right, so it's been a couple hours. I've had a chance to clean up, obviously, and also edit the video. What are my thoughts on the Insta1 R360? A couple things. It's definitely a powerful tool. I think comparing it to the GoPro in terms of just pure image quality, the way I was using it, doesn't exactly compare to what the GoPro looks like. However, it is pretty cool that you can self-film and also change the camera angle in post. Looking at the footage, I was actually surprised at how well it performed just by holding the stick. There was a certain point, especially on the gravel, that once the stick gets really long, it just tends to bounce around. And even though it does have great stabilization, it's gonna suffer a bit. Hopefully you would have seen in the musical montage at the end of the video how you could use it for B-roll and what it looks like when you add music to it. I don't think it would work as well as a piece to camera cam just because of the audio drift and the challenges of keeping the camera stable enough. But in terms of using it as a quick B-roll cam, slowing down the footage so it gets even smoother, I think it's a viable use for that. So far, not bad for the first kind of outing with the Insta1 R360. Incidentally, I'm filming this piece of camera with it with the regular 4K lens, so you can see how that looks like. I am using the audio from the Tascam recorder though, so this is not the camera audio. If you guys have any questions about filming in 360, leave those in the comments below. I'm super curious if you guys are doing it yourselves, what your experiences have been. Leave those in the comments below. And if you like this content, let me know. I hope to do a couple more tech-related behind-the-scenes videos. And as always, keep the supple side down.